it's the next level.
Hope is a powerful thing. Melanie used it to unite the people. First with a lie, but then with the promise of a life off of Snowpiercer. Andre Layton used hope to inspire his people to fight for their freedom. But look where that's got him. And Mr. Wilford is a different story. He's turned hope into fear. He's turned the train against itself, and then offered security. The funny thing is, since he took control, everything appears to be running smoothly.
Welcome back to the show, panelers. I'm Steve.
And I'm Daphne.
And this is a spoiler-full podcast of the Snowpiercer Season 2 2-hour season finale. Wow, that's the word season a lot of times in one sentence.
It really is. But you know what? I feel like since it was a double episode, season and season twice in a sentence is okay.
So we've got a couple of synopsises. Anyway.
I call it synopses.
Okay, synopses for these two episodes. For episode 9, called The Show Must Go On, IMDb told us those who are close with Layton grow anxious to learn their fates. Josie tests her newfound ability. And then the final episode, episode 10, called Into the White, was as the train approaches Melanie's retrieval point, Layton leads a furious attempt to try and pick her up, but not without some sacrifices. Oh goodness.
Yeah.
So what were your first impressions, Daphne, of these two episodes together, this season finale?
Well, I think I mentioned to you before we started recording tonight that I feel like a lot of TV shows are moving in this direction where the penultimate episode is more intense and impactful than the actual season finale. And I'm wondering if when they bundled these episodes together, they weren't thinking about that or were thinking about that, because episode 9 to me was the most intense.
Mm-hmm.
And episode 10 was kind of, it wasn't a letdown. It was just kind of a continuation, but it wasn't quite as intense as episode 9. Both of them gave me all the feels. Like, I was scared, I was happy, there was sadness, confusion. I'd like to be optimistic for the future of our people, but I'm really nervous about what could happen, because we learned some things about Wilford that were never mentioned before, but now that we know them, it makes him even worse than I anticipated.
Yes, absolutely. And that's, for me, I knew that I was going to need multiple watches of this one. In fact, I watched these episodes 3 times. So for me, they're really kind of a jumble in my head as far as what happened in which episode and what the order of things kind of is. But I like the beginning of 9 because we get that reminder that oppressive regimes sometimes seem good at the beginning, because we're hearing Ruth's monologue and she's talking about how everything's moving along, the supply lines are open, we're seeing people working, we're seeing people doing stuff, but then we get to the dark underbelly of it, of Jack Boots in the doctor's office collecting up patient files and finding out that and I'll get more into that when we get into our discussion points, but that was what really ran through my mind when Ruth was making this comparison between hope and fear, and about how Layton used hope and how Wilford uses fear. So
I'd be scared. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
He's frightening.
Especially if I'm not first class.
Yeah.
Anybody who's not first class should be scared at this point.
Yeah. And we'll get into that in a bit. Like, what the dynamic of a Wilford regime, presidency, dictatorship, tyrant style world really is.
And we started to see that because we started to see him kind of unraveling there when he figured out. Well, we'll get into it.
I feel like we have to get into it because there's so much we could talk about it, and then we'd get to the end and realize, oh, we've already talked about everything.
Yes.
So we might as well just jump right in.
Let's jump right in. And as I do every week, you may go first.
All right. Well, my number 5 is Willie's World and Wilford's Productions. Okay. His carnival.
Yeah.
It was like this twisted nightmare, and he was a psychotic ringmaster. And then you had the Alice in Wonderland Tea Party evening.
Yes. I didn't even put that together until you put it in the notes, the Alice in Wonderland. I went more toward like a Willy Wonka kind of thing with where he's passing out these tickets, and we have Lila Jr. apparently offer meds or something because she was wild.
Classic Lila Jr. tonight, I feel like.
And it's one of those things that again, I bring up the oppressive regime because one of the things that those regimes do also, like if you think of Rome, they set up the gladiators and they set up those what do they call them, the Colosseum fights, to try to distract the people from what was going on. And Wilford's kind of doing the same thing here with this carnival, where he's trying to distract everybody and, oh, look over here, don't look what I'm doing over here, because I don't want you to know that I'm going to set up this census and I'm going to
I don't want you to know that I'm taking your medical records to determine your age and health and occupation and whether or not you have a ticket, to determine whether or not I'm going to throw you off the train.
Yeah.
Oh, just when you think he can't get any worse, he is worse.
Yeah. And that's kind of my number 5 is kind of Wilford as well, is just we kind of see an unraveling of him in parts of these episodes. We see him kind of lose it when Josie almost refuses and he's like, throw her out of the train and lock the door, I
know. It was, I thought I understood who he was, but no, I don't have a clue.
Yeah.
He's just worse than I ever imagined.
Yeah, and I mean, he finally admits to Till that he put Roche and his whole family in the drawers, and that apparently there's other people that have already been put into the drawers, to keep them kind of out of the way until things are more orderly or whatever he thinks. He even admits to her, and I think I've got this later in my notes as well, but he even admits to her of him setting up the breachmen to be killed.
Yeah,
and he just flat up tells her, yeah, they were working on my orders, but here's all the ones that did it, and you have the choice about executing them or not. And I'll talk some more about that later as well. But and then you already brought up, we haven't really brought up the culling that Alex mentioned, but we do.
Oh, but we kind of referred to it because that conversation took place at the crazy tea party dinner.
Yes.
And she admitted, oh, you're going to do what you did before. And that revealed a lot of information to those that were sitting around the table, especially Ruth, who I feel really tried to keep things together. But I think that was the final straw for her because she's been so focused on protecting everyone on the train. She doesn't look at them. I mean, I think she thinks there's right and wrong, and she tries to do the best that she can. We'll get into it more later, but Ruth, for me, has grown the most out of any character on this show.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. She saw how under Layton, she saw how Snowpiercer could be ran where everybody's together, where you're all united. And under Wilford, he doesn't want that. He wants everybody divided.
He wants everyone scared of him. And I don't think that you can trust that if you're his ally today, you'll be his ally tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look how he went back and forth on Alex in these 2 episodes.
Oh, that was a mind trip.
Throwing her into the oubliette, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. The way he treated her in this episode. His expectation of her. But I think she was just a pawn in his game.
Ultimately, yeah, and even he says that. He tries to tell her that, oh, you were just a pawn. You were just a piece that I moved
A
around.
lever.
Yeah,
He
in
called
order
her a
to
lever.
get a lever, that's what it was. In order to get to get your mom off the train. So
Yep. Sad.
Mm.
Because Melanie wanted to be a better person and better mother, and she wanted to do something to raise her standards with Alex, where I think if she'd stayed on the train, she would have been able to do that. But I think we saw Melanie, even though we really only saw her like half the season,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we saw Melanie grow as well. We saw
Oh,
what she
absolutely.
had to do to keep the train under, control.
Mm-hmm.
However, when you throw Alex in the mix and she realizes that something she thought was long gone is actually there, something she loves and cares about, I don't think she wanted Alex to be something to be hung over her head, like a
Mm-hmm.
carrot, like Wilford would do. And I
Yeah.
think she was doing what was best for everyone on the train by going to get the data they needed, which we're learning the world's warming up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, so what is your next one?
Oh, my next one is
We're
Josie.
Oh, Josie.
Josie! Oh my goodness. I wasn't sure how I felt at the beginning of the season
Mm-hmm.
about her being still alive. However, I was real excited that she was out there and breaking into the aquarium. Although, I
Oh,
have to admit, the aquarium, watching everything freeze, the fish, the turtle,
mm-hmm.
ugh, that was rough for me. I love
Yeah.
animals, so that was rough. But I love that Josie, she figured out what she had to do. She had to wait for her moment.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a moment that she had no choice. She was heading up train on Wilford's orders. However, listening to what Ben had to say, she
Mm-hmm.
was able to kind of save the day.
Absolutely. Yeah, she was, and I didn't figure this out really until this third watch that I just did about an hour or so ago. Is she was Ben had a plan B. He was the
Yes.
only person who had a plan B. Nobody else had a plan B. If and that's what I figured out in this third watch, that when he called Josie, because he knew what she was going to do, because Sykes had said, well, she's gonna break in to this car, to the engine car. So she's gonna have some sort of tool that's gonna allow her to break in to
Mm-hmm.
a car. And so I love that he called her back, because he realized, okay, every step of the way so far, Wilford has found a way to sabotage us, and get
Mm-hmm.
like he did in episode 9 when they wanted to pick up Melanie. And so I think this was Ben's, like I keep saying, plan B, that he had Josie and he told her what to do to get that car uncoupled. And I, when that realization hit me, I was like, wow, that put Ben in a whole nother level of just not of just thinking ahead, because I think he realized that Wilford was going to find a way to mess the plan up.
As
And
he always does.
yes.
But I also think it was the first time that Ben and the group were a step ahead of Wilford, because they'd always been one or two steps behind.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this was the first opportunity. It was kind of like Layton and Ruth, everyone smartened up
Mm-hmm.
and realized you're not going to beat him by being noble and, like that. It's not going to happen. But you don't have to go down and dig into the deep trenches of evilness that he had. You just
Right.
had to be smarter.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, and I had some of this in my number one, so I'll see if I can make sure I don't want to say too much right now. But I think there may have been conversations and explanations and planning that we didn't see, that we didn't need to see. But the first couple of watches, I was kind of like, man, these people are really coordinated for never actually having put a plan together.
I know.
And then I realized, wait, there must have been some things that happened off screen, some discussions that happened off screen, because we had been talking to Boki, and they were in communication when Boki was by the J Links. And so I think it was just things they didn't show us. They didn't need to show us, but it was cool to see them, like you said, all working together and finally being that one step ahead to where.
Yeah. It was nice to finally see that to me is what episode 10 was about. It's
Yeah.
like they finally got smacked upside the head. Okay, we can't beat him that way. The only way we can is to actually use our brains and our brawn, because Boki did what he had to do. Boki, again, the lone survivor, the breachman that, Wilfred thought he killed them all, and it comes back to bite him.
Yeah.
Because Boki survived.
Yeah, who's got the wrench? Who's down there with the lug wrench? He asked, so yeah, I love that. And that's all setting up for season 3 as well, because we don't know, and this is later on in my notes as well, but I'll bring it up now. We don't know Boki's fate. We don't know. We think Javi might
nervous.
But Javi might even still be alive. Ruth is on that train. Zara is on that train. So there's a really good, all this stuff that's setting up for season 3 that I'm excited, and we're probably not going to see it for like a year.
I know. And you know what? That segues really smoothly into my number 3, which was basically about unconditional sacrifice. The things that people did in this episode, and the fate of our Snowpiercer family. Because that's what, I've referred to them as like our family, our people, all season. I feel like we have seen them go through so many ups and downs. And the sacrifices, like Melanie walking out into the white after realizing that the most important thing was not her, but the data.
Oof. That was rough watching that, and watching Alex read that. The note that Melanie left, and the realization that she's gone.
At the very least, she's gone. She's not around.
Yeah,
we don't know for sure, but for now, there is no Melanie. I'm keeping that little glimmer of hope that someone found her.
I am as well.
We don't know. It was warm. Things were warming up, so maybe
she might have found a patch. She might have found somewhere, like that place where the rats were living, that had that she might be able to find a place. And so I think that's great. We skipped over my number 4.
We did. Well, let's go back to it.
And it's a real quick. It's kind of a real quick one. It's just Lila and Oz, and this is as demented as it is. It's really, she's calling him her boyfriend, and he's head of janitorial, and but we finally get somebody. The two things that I really loved about this quick little scene we get between Wilfred, Oz, and Lila is we finally get somebody asking about Terrence. Wilfred asks, by the way, where is my head of janitorial?
You have been waiting for someone to ask that question for the last 3 or 4 episodes.
And I love Till's response of, that was a crazy time. There was a lot of things going on right then. I was like, it was like 2 weeks ago.
Yes, it was. And no one cared that he got his mouth full of that caulking. Oh,
yeah, exactly. And then the reminder of Lila's crimes. And Wilfred just kind of playing it off as, well, oh, okay, well, if you're innocent, then I guess you're innocent, and it's fine.
But she isn't, and he knows it now, so he can probably count on her. But I feel like, honestly, Ruth and the others need to look at LJ and figure out how to utilize her to their advantage, because I still think she could be useful for them.
It'll be interesting to see how she plays it in season 3, because it seemed like she was kind of sliding over to Wilfred's side. When she calls out Alex on the lie, she says, I saw your mom do the same thing, fake a call to the engine. And so so it's going to be interesting. Season 3 is
that actress is pretty talented.
She is. She
does such a great job. And who knew that Who knew that he was a musician? Not only a musician, but his voice was incredible. That song brought tears to my eyes, because it was such a powerful song that really represented things that were happening in their lives on the show. Yeah.
Is that a real song, or was that written for the show? I didn't research
I don't know. I did not get to look it up, but I did write down some of the lyrics so I could go look it up.
Okay.
And I just haven't had a chance yet.
Okay. Well, let's go back to your talking about sacrifices. I don't think we wrapped up your whole...
it's not just sacrifices. It's more of like the unknown fates. It's sacrifices, but also unknown fates. It's kind of, this gray area of we don't know what's happened to Melanie. Javi's fate is unknown, although I feel like he sealed his fate when he sent the lipstick message down to, what was it? The compost pit, which gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
But quick thinking on Javi's part and quick thinking on Ruth to see it and realize what it was. I mean, there's a lot of things that could have happened there where they might not have gotten that message, and so, like I said, quick thinking on him on how to send the message, to seal it up in that lipstick thing, lipstick case, or however, I don't know.
He chopped the lipstick out and stuck it in there, wrote it very quickly, and flushed the toilet and hoped for the best.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they were able to get the message. I'm hopeful that Javi's still alive, although I think he's probably pretty chewed up, as you can imagine, by the dog. Yeah, but
Wilford, we did hear Wilford say stop to the dog before he went up and accelerated the train. So and we saw the jackboots dragging Javi out. I was trying on my third watch, I was trying to see if he was somewhere in the Headwoods little infirmary car, but I couldn't see whether he was in there or not. So
where's Icy Bob? Recuperating?
Where's Icy Bob? Yeah, I guess he's still recuperating as well.
And where are the tailies? Like, what about, we didn't see Pike this episode. The only tailie that I think we saw Lights,
and we saw Winnie.
And I think that's all that we really got to see.
Yeah,
Strong Boy.
Yeah. That carnival took a lot of people away from where we would have seen them.
Yeah.
And so that's another thing that's gonna be interesting to see, is how far of a time jump, or if we're gonna have a time jump with season 3, or if it's gonna pick up right where it left off. Are they gonna show us the 2 different trains? Are they gonna show us what's happening on, the other 1,024 cars? Snowpiercer, and then the pirate train.
I love the pirate train.
Yeah, the pirate train. So that leads us to my number 3. Or okay.
And
it's Alex's voiceover in episode 10. It was really cool to get to hear her perspective on this whole thing, really, because she says, I was 10 years old when the train started, and Wilford said he was my only family and he was going to take care of me. And what does she call him? Daddy Dubs.
Dubs. Yeah.
But then he started, even before Melanie got into the picture, she felt isolated. She felt alone. She said she was her own island.
Yeah. Then no one came ashore.
Yeah. And then she met Melanie, and she said that's when Dubs got weird. And so it was really, really interesting that everything turned around with that. Wilford, we've talked about the power he had over Alex. I think he fully lost his power over Alex in these episodes.
Absolutely. I think so too. And Alex said she saw women with power keeping the world alive.
Yeah, I loved
it. That.
I love that she says she saw how Layton was able to do it. And she, like you said, she saw women in power, and she saw things that she saw, that hope. And I've got one of her quotes is down below that I'm a part of that monologue that I loved. But and then later we see how he reacts to her attempt to, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, she wants to go get Melanie, and he's like, no. And he gets mad at her. And then he comes down to that point where he calls her a lever, like you said. And it just, in that moment when she cut him with the razor.
Oh, yes.
And I think that confirms for us. We talked about this earlier in the season. That confirms for us that's what she was going to do. He was going to have her cut Layton's throat.
Yes.
With a razor blade. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Alex. I think Wilford before had this power over Alex where his words would cut like daggers into her. I'm not sure that he can still wield that power over her. I think she has moved on. And I love that just before she slices him, she says to him, you would never be the leader.
Mm-hmm.
She is.
Yeah.
When he hits her and then she slices him, and I'm just like, I wish it had gone deeper. We needed it to go deeper.
So that segues into your number 2.
Which is Alex.
Okay.
What a wealth of information. She knows almost all of Wilford's dirty little secrets.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's incredible. I mean, sharing the information about the culling of passengers that happened on Big Alice, that information makes me very nervous that he's going to, dump the tailies by just cutting the car off.
Yeah.
That makes me very nervous. The decoupling using the aquarium car, and using the razor from that Night Out episode, like you said, she was supposed to kill Layton and she didn't.
She knew the secret entrance into his bedroom, the Big Alice's engine that enables Andre and Ruth to secure Big Alice's engine room for Javi. Yeah. She's really, I love that when she's in the cell and they're going to break her out. She's like, no, I have my own way out. And she figures out that she's going to lie about agreeing to go up train with Wilford, but he still doesn't believe it when it comes down to it.
No, of course not. Of course not. I think he's a very smart man, but he's such an egomaniac that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Every time I think I've figured him out, he does something even worse.
Yeah.
So I can't. I just don't know. It's
so that brings us to my number 2.
Yes.
Okay, so my number 2 is the breakout scene with Andre and Ruth, and I just loved how he talks about how we're going to have to be not just ruthless, but we're going to have to push it to the edge, because he said that's what Wilford would do, is he push people right to the edge. We're going to have to do things, and he basically murders that jailer, who, by the way, that food slot was way too big.
Yeah.
I'm like, they had this ginormous food slot to slide the tray in and out. That's problematic right at the beginning. He's wearing the keys when he comes to the door to give them the tray of food. Big mistake right there, buddy.
Not a very smart jailer.
Yeah. And I just, and we talked a little bit about it when that moment when they see Alex and Alex sees them, and she has this just look of relief and joy that she sees that they're out, and they tell her that Melanie is alive. They have confirmation for sure that Melanie is alive, and that's why they're going to take the engine back. It was just, all of it was really great. But then they see the bathtub after they had secured the car. And the first thought I had was, if they knew what had gone on in that bathtub.
Oh my goodness, Kevin. Poor Kevin.
And probably Josie as well.
That bathtub. Oh my gosh.
But as they probably still would have taken baths, even if they knew. Because I don't know how long they've been in that compost car.
Yeah.
But everybody who encounters them is like, whoa.
Whoa. Yeah. Yeah, the smell will give it away before they actually arrive to their destination. It's pretty gross. Yeah. Watching them, though, work together, I loved that.
Yes.
I loved watching them work it out while they were in the compost pile, just talking about what they needed to do and waiting for the right moment. And that segues, honestly, into my number 1, which is Ruth. Her choices and how she really stepped up in this episode. I mean, she was not afraid to use that shovel.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. I think she has grown the most in this season, especially. If you look at where she started to where she is now, she's been the constant that even though Melanie was removed from leadership of the train, she still was working to help the new regime. Like she was the one that put all the passengers first.
Right. Even the tailies, after the Layton's revolution, she even put the tailies. The tailies became part of the passengers as far as she was concerned. And so as soon as they became part of the passengers, there was a switch flipped. Thank you. A switch flipped in her brain as far as how she regarded the tailies.
Yeah. And it was really hard for her. I mean, she was in a competition she didn't know she was in. And then Wilfred says to her, okay, you're the head of hospitality. Now go tell everyone Melanie's dead and she couldn't do it.
Yeah. I love that. I love
couldn't
that
do it.
loyalty.
I love that she stood up to him.
Yeah. I love that. And I was just listening earlier today to an interview with a basketball coach. He was talking about the difference between fear and hope, basically. And coaches who kind of try to coach with fear, they only get loyalty to a certain point.
Yes.
But those that use affirmation and they will get the true loyalty. And that's what Layton had done. And so that's why Layton has that true loyalty from Ruth. So I really, really like that.
Yeah, I think he really, I mean, I think Melanie told him when she left to, really listen and get to know Layton because he was a good man.
Yeah.
And I think Ruth did that in spades, really. I mean, she really bonded with him as far as understanding his leadership. I think the day that they were going to cut Pike's arm off and Layton said, no, take mine instead. I think that built a lot of respect in Ruth's eyes because he was willing to do whatever it took to save the people because that was what was most important to him. And I'm sad the season is over, but I'm really hopeful that some of our people will survive.
Yeah. We'll probably talk some more about it when we get into our notes section.
Yeah.
My number one, we've already talked about a lot of my number one, but let me scan it here and see. We didn't talk a lot. We talked a little bit about the plan at the end of 10 of how they were going to secure those 10 cars so they could go after Melanie. And I love that Ben has this fight with Sykes where I think he totally underestimated how tough she was going to be.
Yes,
how formidable.
He
did not think she was going to be like that. And she beat the snot out of him.
Yes, she did, as you could see on his face with the blood everywhere.
But I did love that little, when she throws him into the keyboard, he's able to kind of do this, the switch track thing on the keyboard. And so that was really cool. I loved Till punching Audrey, making her the hostage. And we're going to talk about Audrey when we get to notes.
Oh my goodness, Audrey.
Let's see. We talked about the Javi I don't know. Javi might. I don't know. We don't know if Boki survived. We don't know Melanie. We don't know
what's going to happen to them. What Wilfred will do to them.
Right.
Like, I feel like some of them are going to have to hide, and there's no place to hide. It makes me nervous. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see, and like we already talked about that with having the two separate trains is going to be an interesting if they're going to bring those back together, or if there's a way, if there's mechanisms within the train to bring them back together at some point. I would assume if you have a way to manually decouple that car, you have a way to put them back together again. We saw how Big Alice.
The aquarium connected them, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. So
absolutely.
Okay, so notes. I've got a quick one. I liked Javi when he was comparing Alex to her mom at the beginning. That was the first episode.
So endearing. Endearing. Love Javi.
When she puts her hand on the train, he goes, your mom would do that. We had a little bit of foreshadowing. You already talked about Ruth rejecting Wilfred's offer, but we had a little bit of foreshadowing of that when Kevin tried to adjust some of the plates and she stopped him and she's like, you had your carnival, this is mine.
Yeah, this is, yes, I loved that too. And one thing that I did respect Wilfred on, probably the only thing, is he slapped Kevin when he was going to slap Zara.
Yes. And Kevin didn't understand, and Till had to tell him, pregnancy comes with privilege,
privilege comes with pregnancy.
We can't let her. What did he call it? The noble jelly, the noble Layton jelly or something like that she's got.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder the second time I watched whether Wilford knew that Ruth was going to reject that offer and that he was going to give it to Kevin all along.
Probably because he would think ahead. There's still this piece of me, and I know we've said we're going to talk about Audrey. There's still this piece of me that thinks that the whole thing with Kevin and Audrey is going to come to play next season somehow, because she's the one that has control of Kevin. It's not Wilford. Really. I mean, in all honesty. But I don't know.
Well, but it goes back to that fear and encouragement thing that Wilford has Kevin's fear, and that's only going to keep him loyal to a point. But you're right, Audrey has the encouragement that she gave to Kevin, so he's going to be. So there might come a moment when for me, we can talk about Miss Audrey right now. What bothered me, or us being wrong about Miss Audrey, is she talked about surviving, is what she said. She told Zara, we're survivors. I'm doing what I have to do to survive. And Zara was like, no, that can't be the way we live. And so I could see Zara being able to maybe turn her around.
I hope so, because I think that Audrey knew when she went to see Wilford that she was going to a very dark place again. She knew that place, and she knew how hard it was. But I still feel like there's some part of her that's going to be want vengeance on him for past.
And it's going to depend on how she gets treated as the hostage. I forgot she's in the pirate train.
Yes.
So we'll be interesting to see how they're treating her next season. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, Wilford's going to have to be very careful what he does. And we're going to learn how much he loves Audrey based on his actions.
Well, yeah, and it looked like to me that she was just another throwaway piece that...
Yeah.
Like, I almost thought, really, that Layton was going to slit her throat with that axe.
Me too.
Like, I really thought he was just going to do it right there. Where, what did Wilford say in front of everyone in the fish?
God in the fish.
God in the fish. Yeah.
But it makes me think about Layton in the last season finale and that impossible choice that he had to let that train car go, the one with all of his friends on it.
Right.
And I feel like, again, he's been given these impossible choices.
Yeah.
And I feel like he would have done it if he had to. I don't think he wanted to, but I think he was backed into a corner and the claws were coming out and he didn't have a choice.
Yeah, so we'll see where this all lands us in the next season.
A year from now, probably. Maybe probably next January.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see that.
So if it's really not a full year, Steve, I think we can make it.
Okay.
I think we can.
Let's see. Did you have any other notes? I've got a couple more notes that we haven't talked about.
Javi played this music when he was getting really scared. He just played this music. He had his little hula dancer, and he was going into a mental place. And I was so happy to see that little bit of him that wasn't so serious minded. So I really liked that. And then there was a point when Alex was there, and I thought Alex would say something to keep the dog from attacking him. And she didn't. I was hoping she would. But I think there's just too many. I mean, it's a chessboard, and they're making the right decision at the right time to show all your cards.
Well, and she was further. I think she was further back.
Yeah.
Because he had already put her out of the room. And so she might not have been able to assert control over the
that's
dog.
True. That's true.
That
I was hoping she was going to. Now I'm starting, honestly, what I'm really hoping for is for Alex to go all Game of Thrones on at the end with the dog and Wilford. You know where I'm going. I'm
yes,
down with
yes.
that.
Yeah, we can see that. See how that plays out. So, we didn't talk about the puppet show at all. The just disturbing puppet show, and Lila just showing her off her meds psychosis of just enjoying this, and you know, it's another one of those signs where Wilford just hold on a second. Sorry. Where Wilford had to, Wilford had to write that thing out and script that thing out in such a way to manipulate Alex, and he should have known it would upset her.
Yes.
And so it kind of surprised me that it went as far as it did, not just showing Melanie dying, but like treating Alex like a baby and putting the pacifier in the puppet's mouth, and that chant of the engine will provide, the engine will provide. We haven't heard that for a while. So
exactly. It's creepy.
Yeah.
It's all creepy. It's some weird twisted fantasy, honestly. And I think at this point Wilford really underestimates Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still think she's going to play a big part in his demise. Because I have to be hopeful. I have to have hope in this case. And I have to, I'm optimistic that I don't think he's the type of person that you can just put in a cell. I think he has to go. Like, he's going to have to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I can't see any form of this show ending, whether it ends with the third season or whether they go further on. I can't see it ending with his character living.
Me either.
I can't see that, whether it's Josie getting revenge or Alex or...
There's too many people that want to kill him.
Yeah.
I mean, really. And
and I'm still holding out hope that Melanie is alive.
Me too. We got to be optimistic, Steve. We got to think. We got to think positively to get through these few months.
Absolutely. So my only other note that I had was there was looked like there was a little Chinese character or some kind of tattoo on the back of Allison Wright's neck.
I don't know what that is.
I tried to research it. I could not find anything. So if somebody finds out, I don't know if that was a character thing or if that's the actress has that tattoo. I'm not sure. But but I noticed it. So
the only other thing I have is the sample questionnaires that they were going to pass out were separated by age. Children, adolescents, and 18 to 39. And then he was considering anyone over the age of 39 elderly.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that. So that's a good...
that frightened me a little bit. I'm thinking, oh my gosh. Reminded me of Deep Impact when they said, I think it was anyone over 50 or 55 would not be eligible to go into the...
into the bunker.
Ark or the bunker. Yeah. Yeah, it's... Oh, what a twisted world with Wilford.
So we've got a few quotes here, or is that all of your notes? Do you have any more?
Those are all my notes. I have a couple quotes from each episode.
Yes, I've got a couple. I've got one from 9, and then I've got a couple from 10. So go ahead, do yours first.
All right. So when Till is talking to Wilford about crime versus order, Wilford says there's no crime on his train, only order. And Till just looks at him so seriously and says, I don't think you're that naive. And Wilford says, I don't think you're that innocent. So I'm like, okay, well, she's kind of pushing back on him, and I liked that a lot. And then later on she said to him, with respect, you can go ahead and lock up Layton, but you'll find a bit of his fight in all of us now.
I loved that one when I go ahead. I love that one as well.
I did too. I just thought it was great. I loved it. Till had some great quotes.
I love because whenever someone starts something with all due respect, somebody's about to get disrespected.
Yes, they are. And then there's this little conversation a little bit later with Layton and Wilford. I think it was while Wilford was in the sewage area.
Oh, when he was talking to him through the door.
Yeah. And so Wilford says, I suppose there must be something uniquely wrong with me. And Layton looks at him and says, "You're not unique, Wilford. You're an old white dictator with a train set.
Yes.
Fragile,
Yes.
powerful men like you froze the world in the first place." And I was just like cheering in my living room when I heard that.
So the one I had from 9 was from that dinner party where when Wilford comes in and Till says, "If Wilford threatens her baby, I'm going to kill him with my butter knife."
Oh, I loved that too.
And I really think she could do it. I think,
Yeah, she could.
and
Till's on it this season. She's been hardcore, and I have loved it.
I just finished watching Camp Cretaceous, and there's a butter knife in season 2 that is pretty prominent. So,
oh, good.
If you guys haven't watched season 2 yet, but
yeah, I have not. But we're going to be covering Camp Cretaceous on Run for Your Lives a bit later. So
yes, I went ahead and watched the first 2 seasons and sent you guys voicemails for it.
I got those. Yeah, looking forward to seeing it. I love dinosaurs.
Yes.
So,
all right. So episode 10.
So for 10, I had Layton and Ruth were having the conversation before everything went down and they escaped. And Ruth said, "Qualities that got us this far won't get us past Wilford. To best a man like that, you need to be utterly ruthless." And Layton says, "We've both done terrible things."
Mm-hmm.
And Ruth said, "Not terrible enough." I thought that was kind of foreshadowing because she kills the guy with the shovel not long after.
Yeah.
And she's slicing and dicing with swords, and that she's come a long way from being so prim and proper and her decorum being impeccable.
Right, and saying hospitality has to remain neutral and that kind of stuff. So.
I don't think so. Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No more neutral hospitality. My last one is a quote that Layton said to Ruth not long after that. He said, "I've watched Wilford, seen him take it right up to the edge of killing us all. So the question is not, are you willing to sink to his level? It's, are you willing to risk everything?"
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, that is kind of the next season. What are you willing to risk?
Yeah. That's going to be interesting because with Zara being on the other train and with them having Audrey.
Yeah.
So I had 2 from 10, and the first one is that I've mentioned Alex's monologue at the beginning of 10. One of the lines she says, "At first, I thought my mom and her people were stupid and disorganized, but now I think freedom probably has to be messy."
Yes, I really like that too.
I really like that thought because it's, and I don't want to get political at all, but that's America. That's America in a nutshell. Freedom is messy.
Yeah.
So. And then it
comes at a price. There's lots of prices, and it's not nice and neat. You can't fold it up and put it away in a drawer.
Exactly. And then my last one is just from Boki, and it's after Layton and Ruth come out of the double yoke that he says, "Okie dokie, let's go make coup."
Oh, so, Boki.
And what does Layton say? "You heard the man. Let's go make coup." So.
Oh, Boki is great. I love their little band of misfit toy soldiers, I guess you could say, that they pulled together, their little council of people that are getting things done. I really have enjoyed watching them work together this season.
Yeah, I love Boki's turn when he made his turnaround on Layton and became loyal to Layton. There was a very big change in Boki, and I like that. And I hope he survived. I hope we get to see him next season. He might be in a drawer. Who knows?
I know. Who else is in a drawer? We don't even know. Are Pike and Strongboy in a drawer?
Yeah, I was just thinking that because we didn't see them. So who knows who all is.
You can't miss them either. They're so big and
exactly
prominent.
So I don't think we got any feedback this week. So, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. I will say a couple of things about the news and about the next season. So listeners, if you don't want to get spoiled, it's not really going to spoil much, but if you don't want to hear anything at all about what's coming up, skip ahead about maybe 30, 45 seconds or so. Give you a chance. All right. There's your warning. After it ended, the second episode ended on my DVR, it did come up and it did say season 3 in production now. So that's exciting. And according to a Newsweek article, they are working on season 3. They have added a new cast member, someone from the show The Good Wife. I didn't recognize the name, but they also know what the character's name is going to be, but they have no clue what they're about or anything like that. And also that Jennifer Connelly is confirmed to appear in season 3, but we have no idea what capacity it will be in. So,
Steve, what if this new cast member is the one who finds Melanie and saves her?
that's what I was just thinking. Maybe, hopefully.
Let's piece that together. If that comes to fruition.
So that was a Newsweek article dated dated the 31st, the day after the finale aired. So, or the 30th, whatever day it was. Okay. All right. Any podcast recommendations, Daphne?
I don't have any for this week other than just go ahead and listen to the coverage that Mark and Steve are doing on Panels to Pixels for Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
Great show. If you're not checking it out, you definitely should.
And also, if you, by the time, I'm not sure when you will get this, but you'll probably get this before you find out that Mark will be covering Invincible, the first 3 episodes and episode 4 with a good friend of ours named Jamie. She is going to be doing a podcast over those because Jamie has actually read the Mark Kirkman comics of Invincible. So it'll be interesting to get her take on that. So she and Mark will be doing that coming up here in the coming weeks on Panels to Pixels. Take care of some of our boilerplate stuff. You can hear us on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you download your podcasts, whatever player of choice you use. Just check us out. Give us a review. In fact, I just gave TV Podcast Industries a 5-star review because I didn't realize I hadn't given them one in a while. So check that out. You can check out our website, which is panelstopixelspodcast.com. We have a Facebook group, which is facebook.com/panelstopixels. And then you can email us, panelstopixels1@gmail.com. We also have a YouTube channel, which is Panels to Pixels Podcast. So, Daphne, thank you so much. We have come to the end of our coverage, our podcasting over Snowpiercer Season 2. But I would like to ask you, will you come back for Season 3?
I would love to come back for Season 3. I have loved getting to break this down with you every week. It's been so much fun. I have such a passion for this show. I don't often give a new show a chance because I'm afraid it's going to get canceled.
Mm-hmm.
But this one, for some reason, I was intrigued. The cast and the story intrigued me. I'm always in for a post-apocalyptic TV show or movie. So, yeah, I'd love to come back.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much again. You're a superwoman. You've been a marvelous co-host, and I can't wait to do it again.
All right.
You've already mentioned your podcast. You
Yes.
guys, listeners, can hear me on Panels to Pixels with Mark. Again, like Daphne just mentioned, he and I will be covering the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That the episode 4, 3, whatever episode just came out today.
I think it's episode 3.
Episode 3, yes, came out today.
Though.
I know. I've watched it. I've watched it once, and it's really, really good. So if you're not checking out the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, check those out. I need to rewatch Civil War and maybe the Winter Soldier again as well. But all right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. I'm Steve.
And I'm Daphne.
And this was Panels to Pixels, and we'll see you on the next panel. Good night.
Good night.